Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Friday. Let's get myself organised because I'm not. There we go. Hopefully you can hear me, see me, all that jazz. As usual, if you are watching, do please type hello in the comments. And that finished demolishing the office. Oh, it's one of those Fridays. Welcome to a very wet and dreary part of Hampshire today. It is not pleasant out there.
And I got the first hello.
Is that your score for today?
Yeah.
Good morning, Maria. Good morning, Sephora from New Zealand. Hello, hello. Good morning, Sue. Good morning, Leslie Ann from sunny Dundee. You've got the sunshine up there then, because we definitely haven't got it down here. Good morning, Keith. Good morning, Janet. Good morning, Jay. Down where you are too. Sephora. Lucky you missed Friday the 13th. It stole my car keys. Oh, no. I don't mind Friday the 13th, which is like the number 13. It's good for us. Good morning, Anna. Good morning, Christine. Welcome, everyone, to Friday. Good morning, Caroline. Back in action after missing last week. Apologies for that, but, you know, I was in Cornwall, so there. Good morning, Emma. Good morning, Kay. It was a lot sunnier in Cornwall. Actually, it wasn't. That's a lie, isn't it? Because one day we had rain. The day we went to Tintagel, it rained. It just made it a bit more atmospheric, really. Good morning, Tony. Yes, we were in Boscastle, staying in Boscastle last week in the Riverside Hotel. Very lovely hotel. Boscastle is so pretty. Where else did we go? We went to Tintagel. Castle was closed because it was windy. But very atmospheric, and I saw a seal in the bay there, so that was quite exciting. And a robin followed us on the walk down to the castle. It's the little things that make me happy. Went to Bude. Bude was quite nice too. Found the most amazing bay. Widemouth Bay, although locals, I'm guessing, may pronounce it Widmouth Bay. I don't know. Yes, the car park was called Black Rock Car Park, which is very, very mellow. But yes, very, very beautiful place. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Cryley. Jay. Good rain, good in Tintagel. Keeps the visitors' numbers down. Keith, did you visit the Witch Museum? We did. I have been there before. We met one of the Kitchen Witch posse, Heather. She was accidentally on holiday at the same time as us. Few days slightly different, but she went to exactly the same place. We both stayed in Boscastle, which was quite bizarre. So we went to the Witch Museum together on the Tuesday. Karen's going on the 31st. Have a lovely time, Karen. It is a beautiful part of the world. Good morning, Charlie. Good morning, Xenia. Currently in London at Cafe Nero. Have fun in the big city. We're going to the London in July to see the Stonehenge exhibition. Good morning, Tony. So welcome, Sephora. Is there a bit of witchiness in Cornwall? Curious as ancestors from the area. Yes, it has got quite a history of witchcraft. There is also a witchcraft museum in Boscastle. Cornwall's a bit of a mix. A lot of folk magic, a lot of witches, and an awful lot of pirates.
Small roads.
And very, very tiny roads, which Pete wasn't very impressed with. Definitely very small roads. But there you go. It was a break, so it's all good. I have to say my favourite was the bay that we found, the Widemouth Bay. It was, the energy was just amazing there. We spent a long time there. Tony, Jamaica Inn. Yes, we went up to Jamaica Inn. Have to say it wasn't the best experience. The gift shop was very nice, but the rest of it was not so good. But that's another story. There you go. So welcome to Friday. So it is raining, but you know, it's good for the garden. I thought today, actually, it was the garden that was my inspiration for the talk today. But before I start, I've got a huge list. Right, it's not huge, but Pete's making me remember to tell you all the things that are coming up in June, because we've got an awful lot going on. And if I don't do it now, I will forget. So next weekend is Witchfest Midlands, run by the fabulous Children of Artemis. I will be giving a talk there, as will lots of other fabulous people. Really looking forward to that. So that's next weekend. The links will magically appear in the comments from Peter the Pixie. So that's next weekend. Also next Saturday, the Witchcraft and Magic course, online course workshop starts, run by the lovely Vicky Bramshaw, that I am a speaker for. There are details on her website and the link that's come up there in the comments there. That's course over several weeks, 5 different speakers, an awful lot of coursework, very, very detailed, huge amount of work gone on behind the scenes from Vicky. That is going to be a fantastic course. That starts next weekend. I have also been invited to join the team at the College of Psychic
Studies.
Thank you. I haven't had coffee yet. College of Psychic Studies in London have asked me to join their team, which is very, very exciting. Very honoured to do that. I'll be giving an online talk on Tuesday, the 7th of June. Details on their website. A link will come up as well. Hour and a half talk introducing people to moon magic. That will be followed on the 28th of June by a 3-hour online workshop where we're going to dig right into the nuts and bolts and nitty gritty of moon magic. So really looking forward to that. 20th of June, I will be doing an online talk for Llewellyn. They are running Llewellyn Con all for 10 days. I think it starts on the 14th of June. Details on their website as well. Lots of different authors giving talks for that, but I'll be talking on the 20th of June, half an hour about curative magic and anxiety. That's a free one, but you do need to sign up for it. Where else? 23rd, 26th of June, myself, Ness and Heather will be at the Pagan Tribal Gathering. That one is sold out. And then the Friday, the 17th of June, all these details are on my website on the events page. Friday, 17th of June, 7 p.m. is the Kitchen Witch online summer solstice ritual, written by Heather this time. So open to everyone, free to all. Details of that on the Kitchen Witch Coven Facebook page. See, there's a lot. I had to have a list. All of those details are on my events page on my website, though. So if you want to follow up any of those, do go and have a look. So that's it. That's the stuff I needed to tell you.
Yeah, carry on.
I can carry on now. Caroline, love Widemouth Bay too. Spent many happy hours there. Isn't it a fantastic place? I was blown away by it. Good morning, Rabbit Moon Tarot. Leslie Ann, see you there. Be good to meet you, Leslie Ann. Look forward to it. Karen will be at Witchfest too. Excellent. Do come up and say hello to me, people. I'd love to meet you all. Good evening, Jill, over in Australia. Sue, is that the prompt fairy I can hear in the background? I've got a talking diary. Yes, yes. Good morning, Andrea. Good morning, Christine. Yes, Sephora over New Zealand and Australia, of course, when we're doing our summer solsticing, you guys will be doing your winter solsticing. Lots of solsticing all over the globe. Just make sure. Well, yeah, thank you. Yes, I'll see you at several of them too, Zenny. Yes, looking forward to it. There's a lot going on in the next few weeks. Tony, hopefully be there next weekend. Never been before. Is it far from Stoke-on-Trent? It's literally on the edge of Stoke-on-Trent. So yeah, that's basically where it is, Tony. I've only ever been there once, so and I'm not very good at geography. Good morning, Eve.
That's true.
Oh yeah, I'm not good at geography. That's what you have a sat nav for. So my inspiration today was from the garden. and what's flowering in the garden at the moment. Roses have gone mad, absolutely mad. But I have done a talk about roses before. So if you want to have a look at the magic of roses, there is a talk over on my YouTube. Zephora. In between all this activity, I'm hoping there's going to be, self-care and rest. Yeah, it is a little bit hectic. Thankfully, most of the things are online. So that's easier to deal with, definitely easier to deal with. But I was looking in the garden. So roses are over on my YouTube channel if you want to catch up with them. But the other thing that's flowering at the moment is, and this is I only picked a very sad little specimen, bless it, Clematis. Or Clematis, however you want to say it. I picked this one because I don't like picking them. But I picked this one because he was looking a little bit sad. He's been eaten by something. So I picked him to show you. I think we've got five different Clematis in our garden. And they are beautiful. We've got one that climbs up through a cherry tree. We've got one that climbs up through a rose. Actually two that climb up through roses. They are massive, Maria. Yes, it is big. It is very big. In fact, I think we've got a fireworks one that's even slightly bigger than that. They are really pretty. Does it smell? No, it doesn't smell. Never smelt them before. So we've got quite a few in the garden, but they carry some fantastic magic with them. So I thought it would be interesting to look at those today. So let's get the notes up because I wasn't very organised this morning. It's not one of the traditional plants. Jill, flowers are huge, thought they were much smaller than that. There are different varieties. The early spring flowering varieties of Clematis have much, much smaller flowers. These are the beginnings of the summer flowering ones, and they are quite big. I think all of the varieties we've got are that sort of size. I don't know what varieties of, let's get some of these up. So I don't know what this one is. We bought 2 or 3 in the sort of clearance section of one of the Home Depot stores. So I don't actually know what this one is. We have got an Elimosa and we have got a Fireworks. We have got a Cardinal Rouge. I don't actually know what this one is. Just started planting, but mine is native New Zealand one, pretty pink, but nothing with that sort of blossom. The Nelly Mosa is quite a traditional one, and that's got the same size blooms as that one. And Fireworks as well is even slightly bigger than that one. Maria's worried the cats will nibble them. Something has been eating this. I don't think it was Eric. It's got little tiny nibbles in it. They are lovely plants, and they will grow quite happily in pots. Actually, we have got 2 more. We've got 7. We have got 2 that are growing in pots. Actually, the ones that we've got growing in the pots, the flowers are slightly smaller. I don't know whether that's because they're in a pot. But they aren't traditional magical plants. You probably won't find them in most magical books. So with something like the Clematis that doesn't have traditional magical meanings, you need to look at the way the plant grows, where it grows, the colour of it, the shape of it, and use your intuition. You need to really tap into the energy of that plant to find out what sort of magic it can do for you. I have included it, and I know Sue is going to be very pleased about this. Sue, I've got my oracle cards out. These are from the Flower Magic Oracle deck. These cards are all made up from photographs that I took myself of plants in our garden. So I have worked one-on-one with all of the plants that the cards represent. And Clematis is one of those. So actually, that's Fireworks. That's a picture of the fireworks.
Where can you get the cards?
Where can you get the cards? It's some prompting pixies working again. Links to where you can buy the cards from are on my website. You can also get them on Amazon. They're sold through Llewellyn. So that's Fireworks, that one, which is really stunning. So I had to work. And see, I knew, Sue, you'd be pleased. Good morning, Luna. I do actually like the lady that's on this card. I have no idea who she is, but she looks fantastic. So I worked with my intuition and I connected with the plant if it doesn't have a traditional, even if it does have a traditional meaning, I still connect with the energy of plants, because each plant has its own unique individual character. So even if basil, for instance, is good for prosperity, if you have 2 basil plants, connect with both of them, because they'll have individual personalities and they'll have slightly different energies. So one might be good for prosperity, but the other one might say, no, I don't want to do that. So it's worth checking. But clematis to me is motivation, and that's really because of the way that it grows. Clematis are climbers, and they are virulent climbers. They wind their way up through anything and everything, and they cling on to everything. See, that's a Star Trek reference now. They're Klingons. Okay, definitely haven't had my coffee.
Oh, make it coffee.
Come on, coffee. Can't have any chocolate cake because we've eaten it all. They do. Their little tendrils wind around everything. So to me, motivation was a really, really big keyword for clematis. They strive to reach the skies. They're really going for it. So there's a little poem. Put this in somewhere. There's a little poem in the book. I say poem in the loosest sense of the word because it's not one of my fortes. Clematis and motivation. Going to make the coffee smart. You just need a little push or shove, perhaps some motivation from above. Get up, get out, don't procrastinate. The time is now, don't leave it too late. Respond to the crack of the whip and don't delay. While the sun is shining, get out and make hay. See, terrible poetry. Sephora, seed pods of clematis I like. Yes, the seed pods are fantastic. Actually, that's a good point, Sephora. When I work with clematis, I don't usually pick the flowers. I leave them on the plants. What I do is I wait until they've gone to seed heads. I haven't actually got any at the moment because over the last 6 months we had house renovations, so I didn't collect much from the garden last year, so I'm out of clematis at the moment, but I would collect it from these. This little spiky bit here in the middle turns into the seed head and it goes all funky. It's like Mad Hair Day. And it is all fluffy. So it's actually those seed heads that I collect to work magic with. You can work with the petals, you can work with the leaves. It's entirely up to you, but I prefer to watch the flowers and then collect the seed heads, and it's those that I work magic with because they're also easier to dry, much easier to dry, because when you pick them as seed heads, they're pretty much there. Thank you for that prompt, Sephora. Karen, love those cards, just look through them. Cheer me up on a gloomy day. Thank you. Yes, they are all, well, they are all photos of flowers, so they've all got that magic with them, haven't they? Good morning, Sam. Emma, love the cards too. Thank you. Terrible at gardening and know very few plants and flowers, so the cards really help. Clumsy witch in the garden. Yeah, you can also, there's some unusual ones in here. There are plants in this set of cards that you might not normally find. So a learning curve as well. Christine, I'd like a hot chocolate while you're out there. Thanks. I'll get him to deliver it, Christine. It might be a little while. Good morning, Leslie. Tony, does ivy climb in the same way? Because I chopped some down, they seem... no, different to ivy. Ivy has little tendrils, little sort of like... I always think of things on ivy stems, like little centipede legs. Ivy can damage the wall. It does cling to the wall. Clematis just sends little tendrils around other plants and around stakes and string and wire and whatever you put up. It doesn't damage things. Good morning, Jane. Indeed, Leslie Ann, the seed has the energy of the whole plant. Absolutely, because that's where the life of the plant begins, isn't it? Absolutely. Jane, my garden's like painting the Forth Bridge. When I get to the end, oh, it's ongoing, isn't it? It is absolutely ongoing. The garden it evolves, doesn't it? It's ever changing. There's always something to do out there, and our garden's tiny, and there's always something to do out there. So clematis message from the book. Jill wants a coffee as well. Bring the Tim Tams, an Australian chocolate biscuit. Oh, I'm going to have to look those up, Jill. That sounds yummy. I have peanut butter cookies here. We did have chocolate cake, but it only lasted a day. So I've got the message in the Clematis book here, which I'll read to you, and then we'll get down to the nitty-gritty of working with the Clematis. So the message for Clematis, when I get the words out, is get off your backside. There's no time to be a couch potato. Don't dither about wondering what if or should I. Yes, you should. Life is a bit of a roller coaster, ain't that true? We all have dips and peaks. Climbing back out to the bottom of one of those dips isn't always easy, and it can become all too easy wallowing down there. We've all been there, we've all done it. However, life is big and beautiful and up here. Come and get it. Do whatever it takes to prise you out of your armchair. Step away from the chips and dips and the TV remote. Time to wind your way upwards and outwards. Set yourself one goal to start with and then add to it. Little tasks and challenges at first that will build and help you climb towards an even bigger desire or wish. What do you really want to achieve? And how can you get there? Well, it certainly won't happen by wallowing under the covers all day. So it is. This is a kick up the butt card, basically. And Clematis can help you do that. It's motivation. It's moving you forward. It's moving you upwards. It is motion. It's a bit like the Chariot tarot card, really, if you read tarot. Good morning, Jackie. Sephora has several acres, so it's my gym as well as creative madness. Oh, totally jealous, Sephora, totally jealous. Sue, have you noticed how many companies are giving away free seeds? Morrison's, a certain honey company, and when my mum went to summer lunch, we were given a packet of wild seeds to plant. Oh, what a nice idea. I got a packet of wild seeds in my egg box as well, which is super cool. I'm going to put this up here, actually. Ooh, and then we can have Clematis behind us. Yes, I think it's brilliant, actually. All the wild seeds. Good idea. Got to keep the bees happy. Christine, my garden has gone wild. It's filled with dandelions, buttercups, and also a Welsh poppy just appeared. But the only one I planted in flower is a wisteria, and scent is lush. Fantastic. My mum used to have wisteria all over her house. I have 3 Clematis in the back garden. They're really cheery when they are in flower. They are happy flowers, aren't they? They are definitely big. They also look a bit like the flowers that kids draw because they've got that simple shape to them, haven't they? Good morning, Maharet. Clematis gets chosen quite often, I've found. It is, if you are a bit wallowing, if you are a bit in the doldrums, Clematis will help you move out or prompt you to move out. That's what it's all about. That energy of the plant is all about motivation and getting you moving. Look, a cup of coffee. There's a nice surprise. Thank you. And if you could, Christine wants hot chocolate. She's in Dorset.
Okay. I'll get on my bike.
And Jill's in Australia.
Yeah, I'll get on my bike really quickly. Pedal fast.
Deliver hers too.
I can pedal fast.
Good morning, Lexi. Having a bad time. Big amounts of positive energy coming your way, Lexi. Hang in there. So Clematis. Using it in magical workings, as I say, I tend to use the seed heads, but if you prefer to use the petals or the leaves, it's up to you. Maria says, where's her tea? Jeez, she's London, so that's in the opposite direction.
Look outside the front door, it's there.
Susan Somerset, she'd like an espresso. Espresso, sorry, I must say that right. It's not X, is it? Espresso. Oh, you're going to be busy this morning.
Get on the bike.
Get on your bike, yeah. Put your hat on because it's raining. Jane, need motivation to get going on my kitchen witch homework. Time to revamp the meditation altar with clematis from the garden and chariot card or two. That would be perfect. Absolutely perfect, because the clematis are in flower at the moment. So you can put some on your altar to get things going. That would be perfect. Because that's what it does. That's what you've got orders coming here now. Cappuccino. Thing is, it's not really au fait with the coffee machine yet, are you? So I can't guarantee that it would be an espresso or a cappuccino.
I'll practice.
You practice, yeah. Jackie, wildflowers. I bought my friend a card. It's made of paper with wildflower seeds embedded in. Then you plant the card. I bought my dad one of those as well for his birthday. Very clever. Very clever. I've seen pencils as well that have got seeds in them. And when you get down to the last little bit, you just plant the end bit of the pencil. It's all about looking after the environment and keeping those bees happy. So clematis. Back to clematis. Using magical workings to reach your goals. They can also be used to help set the plans for new projects, put schemes in action. It helps in spell workings, incense blends to achieve your aspirations and to attain the desires that you want for yourself and others. Reach for the stars, basically. That's what clematis does for you.
Reach for the stars.
Oh, he's singing now.
Every mountain high.
That's a bit sad.
Yeah.
If you're going to sing something decent.
Best Club 7.
Best Club 7, yeah.
So talented, me.
And Jane, yes, you would like chocolate on it. Oh, always. Or a bit of cinnamon. Cinnamon's nice too. But Emma wants an Americano. You can probably cope with that one. That's just black coffee.
Doesn't be quite so derogatory, thank you.
We should set up a coffee shop. Sephora, which bit would you use for incense? It would have to be dried. You could use the seed heads, or you could dry the petals, or even the leaves, actually. It's not going to give you a scent, but what it will do is add the energy of the plant to it. But it would need to be dried first, otherwise it's not going to burn properly. But you can add to incense blends. You can dry them, grind them up, use them as sachet or magic powders. You could dry them, grind them up, unroll your candles in them for candle magic. You could put the seed heads into spell pouches or witch bottles. Lots and lots of different uses for them. Or like this, just pick one, bring it in, put it on your altar, and then you've got that energy. As Leslie Ann says, the seed head for me is the one that I use the most because it's got all of that energy in it. It has the entire energy of the plant. But if you prefer to use the petals or the leaves, go for it. It's all going to have that clematis energy to it. And it's all about going for it, because that's how it grows. It grows up and it reaches and it grows like a loony. So it's got a real fast moving motivation energy to it as well. So if you've got something that you need quickly, I'd use clematis for that as well, because it gives that super energy to it. Let's get some of these. Jill's offered to teach you how to use the coffee machine. You just need to hop on over to Australia.
Yeah.
Pete actually has family in Australia, Jill, so you could do a kind of round tour. Maria, it's like when someone get mentioned Zoom. Yeah, our whole conversations are based around song titles or lines from songs. We sing all the time.
It's the way it should be.
And Eric's blanket's fallen off.
What are you looking at me for?
Jane, a candle spell with the candle encrusted with clematis, just what I need. Brilliant. I would dry it first if you are doing that though, because it works a bit better when it's dried.
Maybe hold it just in case you're worried.
Oh, we got this.
Slade out of them.
We got Slade today peering out. Good, because that Robbie Williams the other week was a bit creepy.
Yeah.
Sephora, if you move the flower towards the tea, it will make a wonderful. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Do you prune clematis in winter? There's, I think it's 3 different categories of clematis. Some are spring flowering, some are early summer, some are late flowering. Late summer flowering. Some of them you cut down, some of them you don't. Which is which, we're never actually very sure. I think it's the spring ones you cut down, isn't it? You'd have to look it up. There's 3 different types, and each group has to be cut down differently. Some you leave, some you don't. Some of them you literally cut them right down to the ground. So you'd have to look to see which variety you've got and which ones need which. We forget each year and have to look it up. Good morning, Trudy, in from lots of travelling. Christine has George Michael given me one of his stares.
That's where he is.
That's George Michael. Yeah. George Michael didn't die. He's been held hostage in Christine's basement.
All right. News of the world headline.
Yes, Sephora. See Monty Donovan as well. He has done a full. He has. In actual fact,
Lord Monty.
The RHS website is brilliant for looking up information on which ones to cut down and which not. You have to know which type of clematis you've got, obviously. But the RHS website is really good as well. But we do like Monty Don. He's cool. We like Frosty better, but that's another matter. There's some interesting names, old names for clematis. Some of the common names: Traveller's Joy, Virgin's Bower, Leather Flower, Vase Vine, and Old Man's Beard. I suspect some of those come from the way that the seed heads looked. The name itself is from ancient Greek and translates literally as climbing or vine-like plant. Couldn't be simpler, really, could it? It features in Victorian flower language, which is a fascinating subject and is included in my Magical Plants and Herbs book. Each flower that was given to you in a posy in Victorian times had a meaning to it. So clematis would have represented art, mental beauty, but also poverty. It was one of those ones that has a kind of dual meaning. You'd have to guess which one it was meant if it was given to you. Planet that it's aligned with, Mars, good for motivation and communication. I would work with clematis spells on the new moon, the waxing, right up until the full, work on the full as well. It's got that growing, that increasing type of energy with it. So tie it in with the moon phase and you add your extra layer of magic to it. Emma, I kill every plant I touch. Oh no, are they quite hardy? Don't want to get something I'm going to kill within a few seconds. We do just leave us to get on with it. So it seems to be quite happy. Christine likes the idea of keeping George Michael in her basement, I think. Lexi, his Complete Gardener book is fantastic as well. He's got a few books out, hasn't he? We have got a couple of them. He's very good, Monty Don, definitely. Good morning, Denise. First time watching you. Oh, I hope I don't scare you off, Denise. We're fairly relaxed here.
Tea or coffee after?
Yeah, tea or coffee. Actually, they've all been coffee orders this morning. Oh, and hot chocolate. Jane, my clematis is growing through a Vigella and a rose of Sharon. Nice, so I can't prune it. When it runs out, things climb up. It just dangles. That's the other thing, isn't it? Yeah. Most of our clematis are actually growing in and out of something else. So we do tend to just leave them to it, unless they start to look a bit sad, and then we'll do a little bit of pruning. But yeah, most of ours are going through a cherry tree or through roses, so it's difficult to prune them. You can, just leave them to Denise's tea. We've got a tea order. And then we could get into what milk you want and what type of tea. I think a lot of gardening is trial and error. I think it is finding out where your plants fit. You have to look at your garden and look at ours, for instance. Sunny on one side, almost complete shade on the other side. So we've literally got a garden of two halves. So there are plants that love the sun. There are fewer plants that like the shade. So you do have to work out where in your garden the sun is and how long it is for the day. Your soil will make a difference. Ez is very heavy clay. We have worked around that a lot. We've been here a lot of years. So we have dug a lot of compost and shingle and all other sorts of things into the soil to make it better. But some plants like different soil to others. Lavender, we can't grow in our garden. We have to keep that in a pot. But the camellias love air soil. So you have to work out what type of soil you've got as well. Pests you have to keep an eye on. We've got a walled garden. It is brick wall literally all the way around. So the snails and the slugs love our garden. So it is about finding out what works in what space and in your soil and what the sun shade thing is going on and how much you want to look after stuff. Some things do take a lot of looking after, others don't. So I think it is a little bit trial and error. Christine, we have a clematis growing through a winter jasmine. We get yellow in winter and white pink in the summer. Perfect. We don't have jasmine, but next door does. And it climbs over the top of their trellis. So we get some of theirs as well. Borrowed jasmine. Decaf green tea. Probably got some of that. I've got quite a lot of herbal teas out there. Sephora, I found clematis very difficult to grow from seed. I haven't tried that, I must admit. Maybe all the motivation is for the humans. No. I haven't tried growing it from seed, I must admit. We have bought it from plants. But once it is established, it goes for it. It really goes for it. Ours do grow like loot, and they grow really quickly too. Even if you cut them right down, they will flower that season. Lots of energy in them. Denise's green tea too. Not a big lover of green tea, I must admit, but I will drink it. Jane, the little gap between our fuchsia bush and the front wall is total snail fest. Yeah, we do have a lot of snails and slugs. However, we've had fewer in the last few years, and I think it's a lot to do with the bird feeding station that we have up now. We have
bird poo everywhere.
We have bird poo everywhere. We have peanuts, we have mixed wild seed, we have Niger seeds, and we have suet balls, all on a bird feeding station. And the birds fill our garden, mostly sparrows. Our green fly population has been decreased quite significantly because the sparrows eat them. We do get quite a few blackbirds as well, and they of course love the snails. So it's all about getting that eco balance with Mother Nature.
And bird poo.
And bird poo. Stop it. If you invite that nature in, then it sorts itself out. We don't use pesticides. Haven't used pesticides for years. We do use a bit of grit around the dahlias, because the slugs and snails don't like sharp grit, and they do like eating the dahlias, and they're Pete's favourites, and he gets very cross.
Dahlias, not slugs.
So other than the sharp grit, we don't use anything else, because the birds seem to balance it out. They do their job, and they're quite happy feeding on them all. Sephora, my she shed is embellished with clematis climbing and trailing. It was wintry here, no flowers, but still green. Lovely. Very nice. Denise has a wonderful Montana. That's one of the early spring flowering ones with lots of white flowers. They're the small ones, but they masses of flowers, don't they? Growing up wild up a conifer. They are fantastic, the Montana ones. Early spring and loads of flowers. Christine, get some. Yes, nematodes. I have heard about that, but the birds seem to be doing it at the moment. So fingers crossed.
Just don't put your favourite plant underneath.
Yeah. Recent RHS studies show that if you put a copper ring around your plant, I have read that. They won't go over it. Something about the conductivity, and it doesn't harm them. So still food for the birdies. That's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, I have read that. We haven't tried it. There is the point, if you do put poison down for the slugs, we don't, because we've got a dog, and we
everything.
And he eats everything in the garden. Last year we put down some animal friendly slug stuff. It was squishy like felty stuff,
Organic
stuff. He eats it. He comes in the house with great lumps of it in his mouth, so we don't use that anymore. But I have read about the copper ring. Definitely worth trying. But if you put poison down, the slugs eat it, and then the birds eat the slugs, and so the birds get poisoned too. So don't do it. Basically, just don't. Zephora bird bath. Yes, we have a bird bath as well. They love going in the bird bath. We have a bird bath in the garden filled with water. We've also got some rocks in it so that the bees can sit in the water as well. Leslie Ann, hedgehogs. Yes, I would love a hedgehog in our garden, but as it is walled on all sides and we are terraced, the poor little hedgehog would need, rope and tackle to get up over the walls. However, my dad has a huge garden and he has hedgehog houses in his, and he gets hedgehogs all the time. So yes, if you can house a hedgehog, they are a brilliant idea. Leslie, the only birds that come into my garden are magpies and robins. Don't know why, even a bird feeder didn't attract other birds. It takes a while to build it up. We've started with the mixed seeds and that brought in the sparrows, and we get lots of sparrows. We do get the occasional magpie. We do get the occasional seagull because we're quite close to the sea. We get lots of pigeons. But then we put out peanuts as well, and we get a few chaffinches now as well, and some blue tits. The fat balls bring in the starlings and the thrushes, and then we've started. My dad is a big twitcher, knows all about birds, and he suggested putting out Niger seeds to attract other types of birds as well. So I've just hung up a feeder with Niger seeds in, so we'll see what that brings in. It does take a little bit of time for news to get round the bird world. The garden A has got that new type of seed in, so different types of seed attract different types of birds apparently, and it does seem to work. Maria says it doesn't work. Is that the copper stuff, Maria? Yes, Sue's saying copper rings don't work. Copper tape. Okay, mixed. Yeah, okay, sorry RHS. Xenia, love blackbirds and they're singing. We have a pair of blackbirds that nest in one of next door's trees. We get so many sparrows. It is joyful to watch them feeding in the garden and having sand baths in the shingle as well. Jane, the pigeons eat our neighbour's cherries. They eat mine too. Then roost in the sigma, poop the pips all over our path. Yes, see, we've had holly trees spring up in our garden from bird poop, but they do eat all of our cherries, I must admit. Leslie uses eggshells. It's the sharp stuff, isn't it? We use sharp grit, and that seems to work well. Sharp. Jane tried copper tape. Jane's got raving slugs that come up and just get a buzz from the copper. Hugh Richard uses rose cuttings or bramble cuttings. It's spiky things, isn't it? That probably detects cats a little bit as well, I would guess. Maria has this pebble stuff around the bottom of the stems that's kid and pet friendly. There's lots of, that didn't work either. There are lots of different variations. We have tried most of them. The sharp shingle seems to work most. Hi, Cos. Jane tried to make a eagle house for the hedgehogs, but there were no takers. They're very rare around here. They need space to move between gardens, don't they, apparently? You could try contacting your local hedgehog rescue because they're always looking for gardens that they can put their rescued hedgehogs in. That might be worth looking at, Jane. Desna, don't use pesticides, but I do get a lot of rooks, crows and jackdaws. I hope they're eating the slugs. Yeah, excellent. What a fantastic array of, if you're going to have birds, it couldn't get more magical than rooks, crows and jackdaws. We don't get jackdaws around here at all, although we did see them down in Cornwall. Thank you, Christine. I couldn't remember which one it was. Niger seeds bring in the goldfinches. We had one sit on the wall a few weeks back, and I mentioned it to my dad because I've got my bird book out in the kitchen so that I can look up, see what comes in the garden. He suggested that. Thank you. Sephora, if you can let some vegetables, flowers, herbs go to seed in your gardens, you'll definitely increase. Yeah, it makes a difference what you grow in your garden too, doesn't it? With seeds and berries, we have a rowan tree, we have a holly tree, we have sunflowers. So it is about variety in your garden to bring in the bees, to bring in the butterflies, to bring in all the insects, and to feed the birds as well. So it is about having a variety that covers all sorts of things. In fact, one of the garden centres last summer, there was a whole row of plants and each one had a label on it that told you what type of bird liked to eat the seeds for that plant, which I thought was a fantastic idea. Emma, we've currently got a bird argument at our window bird feeder. Apparently it's not enough to go around. They do like to argue with each other. Trudy, we have, yes, the young sparrows, phenomenal eaters, cleaning the bird feed. Yeah, I have to fill mine up every day and it's quite a big one. There are the young and teenage sparrows are out there at the moment, aren't they? Jackie, get lots of birds in the garden. I was talking to a friend on the phone. She asked if I was an aviary. It's good. It's good. Keith, I put cups of old beer out for slugs and snails. My dad does that actually. A bit of beer in the bottom of a glass or a tin that you bury in level with the garden. That seems to work very well. And I'm guessing the slugs die quite happy too. Denise, we have lots of hedgehogs in our garden, have houses and lots of lovely birds. Perfect. So you can put hoggy doors in your wall. Yeah, but all the other, yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? We aren't exactly in the middle of a terrace. We are towards the end, but we'd have to get every single house up to put a hole in a brick wall. Not sure that would work, really. It's just one of those things. Christine, we get so many dang birds. I won't list them all because they're all day. Great fun living with a twitcher. Yeah, my dad has been a twitcher ever since I was a kid. So it's fascinating, Rod. Fascinating. Monty Don just phoned. He asked if you're free for a slot card as well tonight. Now, you know that's not true because he pre-records it. Hedgehogs like lots of vegetation and feed and water. Foster hedgehogs. Fantastic. And I think I'm absolutely right in saying please don't put out milk and bread for hedgehogs. It makes them really, really poorly and it can kill them. I believe, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Denise, dog or cat food is the best stuff to put out for them. Christine, our local vet told us to go out at night and cut a snip into them and they disappear. Birds get them in the morning. What? A snip in what? I'm confused. Desna never has old beer. Well, there's that too. So I'm coming back to Clematis because, as usual, we've gone completely off topic. There are some things that you can. Oh, slugs. Thank you, Christine. Sue's hoggy eats cats' leftover munchies. I'm sure it is cat and dog food that's better for them. Never milk and bread. So there are things that you can add to your clematis to help boost the motivation energy. There's lots of herbs. Coltsfoot, elm and plantain will all add to build that energy to it. To add focus to your motivation spell, you could use cinnamon, frankincense, pansy or pine. For strength, to add to your motivation spell, lots of things. Bay, black pepper, carnation, daisy, garlic, horseradish, horsetail, lavender, mugwort, oak, pennyroyal, St. John's wort, sweet pea. If you want to add success to your clematis motivation spell, beech, bergamot, cinnamon, clover, cumin, ginger, holly, lemon balm, lily of the valley, rowan sage, Solomon's seal. And if you want to add an extra boost of power to your motivation spell, bay, cinnamon, dragon's blood, echinacea, ginger, oak and rowan. I won't be testing you on this. I will put it on the blog later. Eve, as retired, spent ages watching the birds. I've seen some of your photos, Eve. It's lovely to see the birds in other people's gardens. Karen says, yuck. Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Karen. Here we go. For hedgehogs, definitely no milk. Kitten dried food or puppy food with no milk products in it. Thank you. I thought milk was bad for them. Bless them, do love hedgehogs, which they don't have in America, which surprised me. It's a very British thing, hedgehogs, bless them. Bless them. There are foods that you can eat while you're doing your motivation spell, or add to your motivation spell, depending on what type of food they are. Saffron is really good for motivation. Expensive ingredient to use, but very good for just a pinch to add that extra boost of motivation energy to your Clematis spell. A very random one, turkey, is very good for motivation. It's just the way it goes. But if you want to add some energy in food form to your motivation spell, baking powder, because it lifts, it rises, and that goes really well with the Clematis energy. Cashew, chilies, coffee, curry, bit of curry powder in your motivation spell will give it a big old boost. Grapefruit as well, horseradish, lime, orange, most of the citrus ones, paprika, sesame as well. All add a pinch of those, all add to boost the motivation energy for it. And a bit of cinnamon as well. Cinnamon's always good for giving that energy boost, for that focus, for that oomph that goes with it. If you want to add strength in food form, then artichoke, broccoli, garlic again, black pepper, bay, mushrooms, pine nuts, raspberry, sesame, spinach, sunflower seeds, and good old tea. That's really good for strength. For power, baking powder again, bay, beef, chilies, cinnamon, ginger, liver, lobster. Quite random, these food choices, but they all carry a boost of power with them. I'm not suggesting that you pop a bit of lobster into your witch bowl or your spell pouch, but you could eat it as your meal before or after you're working your spell. Charge it with the energy of your intent. For success, borage, cheese, chestnut, cinnamon. Cinnamon's just good for success, for power, for energy, for all of those oomph kind of things. Cumin, ginger, mustard, sage, and strawberry, all really good for adding a boost of success energy to your motivation spell. Jane, don't they have groundhogs across the pond? They do, which we don't have over here. Zephora, we have hedgehogs in New Zealand, but considered a pest, which is kind of sad as they're very cute, but lethal for ground nesting native birds. Okay, I hadn't thought about it from that point of view. No. But then it's a whole circle of life, isn't it? Everything in the wild has to feed on something. So there is that chain that happens. Christine, does corn work for motivation? I don't know is the answer to that. You'd have it's beans, isn't it? Is it bean curd? Is that corn? Or is that the other stuff? I don't like corn, and I don't like, what's the other stuff? I can't think what the other white stuff is. My brain's gone. Not my favourite. I think you have to associate what you feel it would do. What energies does it have for you? Tofu, that's the bean curd stuff. I knew it would come to me. What's corn made of? Go back to the basics of the tofu. Thank you, Jane. Yes. Tofu I would associate with beans and bean curd. Corn is a fungus. That sounds really nasty, Chris. I would work then corn with the same magical properties that mushroom has as a fungus. Oh, let's have a look. I don't think I put corn in here because it's not my favourite, I must admit. What am I looking for? Mushrooms. It's been a long day already. Do, 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 do. I'll play some music while you're on hold. Do, 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 do.
Please, no. Don't sing.
No, I can't find mushrooms.
Anything but singing.
Oh, I can't sing to save my life. Mushrooms, they are. So yeah, if corn is a fungus, then I would work with the same magical properties that mushrooms have, which is strength, courage, magic, and balance. Ruled by the planet, the moon, element of earth, and the gender of feminine. So yeah, corn would be good because it's got strength and courage. So that would definitely add to your motivation spell. Absolutely. Going back up here now. Leslie Ann. In the Middle Ages, they used to say that if you ate some saffron every day, you'd live forever. Well, there you go. I'm assuming it was a bit cheaper then. It's quite an expensive herb, isn't it? Saffron cakes are very nice, though. Jill, we don't have hedgehogs in Australia either. We have echidnas, spiny anteaters. Oh, I love that. Animal Kingdom is amazing. Xenia, coffee is the ideal magical potion for you. It is. Coffee is a really good magical boost, and I use it quite a lot as an ingredient, just coffee granules or coffee beans, and I add them to spells to add a bit of motivation, a bit of energy, a bit of boost to get things going. It really does push a spell in the right direction. Currently drinking mine, and after that I can function just like magic. I have mine too. Mine is extra boosted coffee. It's got superfoods in it. I'll be running a marathon this afternoon or something like that. Hang in there, Lexi. Take care. Jane, we had a hedgehog in our garden a couple of years ago. It was cooling its feet in a box of plant pots and water. Oh, let me stroke its nose. Bless. The other thing you can add to your motivation spells are crystals, and I've got a little dish of crystals to show you just because I can now reach all of my crystals. Adding to spells with the different things. If you're adding, you've got your Clematis, whether it's a candle spell, a witch's bottle, or a spell pouch, whatever it is you're working with. If you can add other things to it, then you add other layers to the spell, and you add other layers to the magic, and you add other layers to the power. So it builds on the energy of it and boosts the power of it. That's just like working on a corresponding moon phase. We'll add that power as well. Corresponding day of the week, we'll add that power as well. So if you can add herbs to it or foods to it, then you've got those extra layers of power. If you also add in a crystal, then you are adding even more power to it. And all of the spell ingredients that you use, like the Clematis and all the herbs and the food, you just get rid of afterwards because they can't be used again. Crystals can. You use them for your spell, you cleanse them, you can use them again. I tend to work particularly with candle spells, and I will sit a crystal in front of it as I'm burning the candle. If I'm working with a spell pouch, I pop a crystal in it, and then when I'm finished with the spell, I take the crystal out and cleanse it and dispose of all the spell pouch ingredients. So crystals that will actually work specifically for motivation, along with your Clematis. You've got green aventurine, and they can vary in colour. Got a dark one and a light one there. Green aventurine, really, really good for motivation. Carnelian, and again, I've got a darker one and a lighter one, both carnelians. That is, for me, one of my go-to for motivation. For me, that's got a really, really good boost of energy to it. My one and only tiny piece of garnet that has been used in every single spell that I've needed a piece of garnet for and cleansed more times than I can count. How light, and I only have a tiny weeny piece of this. A bit of how light. Jasper's another one for motivation. There are all different sorts of jasper. My choice would be red jasper, because I work a lot with colour magic. So for me, red is the colour of motivation. It's a get up and go, kick you up the butt kind of colour. So I would go for red jasper, but trust your intuition. There are lots of different ones. This is a Guinea one, and this is an ocean one. There's all sorts of just different jaspers. Go with the one that you feel is the right one to work with. Another one of my favourites is pyrite. just pretty and sparkly. That's really good for motivation as well. It's good for a boost of energy. Good old quartz. I would tend to use a quartz with a point. This one came from a charity shop. Because the point for me would be motivation, would be going in the right direction, would be sending things where I need them to go. But a quartz tumblestone is absolutely fine as well. Quartz is brilliant for all-rounders, but particularly good for motivation. Next one is Tiger's Eye. I have a brilliant pyramid one here from Freya's Cauldron, which again, because it's got the point, I would use in motivation spell to direct the energy where I need it to go. But a Tiger's Eye tumblestone is just as good. And the last one I have is Black Tourmaline. I have a pendant actually. A point again for directing the energy where I need it to go, but a piece of tourmaline works just as well. Those are all specifically aligned with motivation, so they would all be really good to use in your Clematis motivation spell. But trust your intuition. You don't have to go out and buy loads and loads of crystals. If you only ever buy one crystal, make it a clear quartz, because that's a good all-rounder and it will do absolutely everything you need it to do. But it's about adding layers to your spell to get things going. Sue, I need a good crystal to help me find my Book of Shadows and my Goddess statue that have both gone walkabout. Why have they gone walkabout, Sue? Why is it they've disappeared? That question may need answering first. But I have seen a comment down here from Maria, which would be my answer to, do you have a pendulum? Try to find them with that. I would absolutely use a pendulum to narrow down where it is. But I think you need to ask why important things like that have gone missing. They do. They absolutely do. Magical stuff goes missing all the time. That's just what happens. Jane asks St. Anthony to help you find them. He always comes up trumps. If you work with the saints, he's the perfect one to go with. Sephora, can you make magical posies? Absolutely. In fact, I cover magical posies in my plants and herbs book. She says, that one has about working with magical posies in it. Magical posies are a brilliant thing to work with, bringing all the energy of different flowers into a posy to work magic. It's an old way of working magic and ties in very nicely as well with the Victorian flower language. So definitely. Maria, that's my stone. Red jasper, I do like red jasper too. And pyrite, Maria, yeah, same wavelength. Christine, good to see you back. Thank you. Thank you. You too. Tiger's Eye Tourmaline, also, yes, perfect for protection and grounding. Absolutely. Absolutely. Keith, things do go missing because of the Fae. It may well be that they've had a hand in it too. They don't like to be ignored. I decided keys went on Friday the 13th, so I didn't drive home next day. Metal detector, no joy. Conclusions. They will have gone for some reason. Yeah, we have things that we've never found. We had a set of car keys and a TV remote go missing, but we are blaming our daughter because she was a very small toddler at the time. And I think she may have disposed of them somewhere and we never found out where. Jane, only work with the Franciscan saints, not international. That's how it's worked out. It's got to be something that works for you. Absolutely, Jane, absolutely. But yes, Sue, I would try the pendulum would be my first. And if you haven't got a pendulum, just tie a rock or a ring to the end of a piece of thread and use that. Pendulum's very good for finding lost things. So that is Clematis motivation magic, if I can say it properly. I'm going to be doing a few more talks working on what's flowering in the garden in the next few weeks, because it's that time of the year when the garden is just exploding with stuff. I'm also going to be working with some basic foods as well that we can use in magic. Things that we can get free, things that Mother Nature provides us with. But if you'd like me to talk about anything in particular, please do let me know. I will be here next Friday, but then I'll be off to Witchfest Midlands. But if you want me to talk about anything in particular, just let me know. I'll be happy to do. Have a look at the events list on my website to catch up with the other things that are happening. Other than that, do have a good weekend, have a good week, and hopefully I will see you all next Friday. Have a good one.